Your business was just able to legitimately write off a loss. You were just able to pull it out of your business legitimately as an individual. And now you have something that's going to pay for your retirement, even if your business doesn't sell. It's a great feeling to say that I built the business, scaled it, and sold it. But even if that doesn't happen, I show you how you can still exit with dignity.
Welcome to the Super Clinic Project Podcast, where we take regular clinic owners and turn them into cash-based multimillionaire entrepreneurs. Warning, if you're a doctor who listens to this podcast regularly, you will make millions of dollars. Do not listen to this podcast unless you want to be a successful clinic owner who helps thousands of patients achieve their health goals and adds more money than you can imagine to your bank account. You've been warned.
Welcome to the Super Clinic Project Podcast, where we take regular clinic owners and we turn them into super clinic owners. I'm your host, Jennifer Gligoric, and today we have brought back one of our favorite guests. He is a founder, a chartered financial consultant, certified IUL master, and a partner in the franchise consulting company. He's also the host of Entrepreneurist Podcast. So let us welcome back to the show, Randolph Love. I'm so excited to have you back.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. I love talking to you. I appreciate you bringing me back. If anybody that's listening and not watching the video version, you're missing out. But I did my champion's motion to show that I made it back. This is my Super Bowl whenever I come back to your podcast.
Yeah, it's always exciting to have him. In fact, Randolph is so easy to talk to that I ended up I was telling him about another taping I'm doing today with the clinic who has grown 30,000. It's actually one of my clients that's coming back. And we were getting into this big thing and I realized, oh my gosh, we need to stop talking. We've got to start.
Oh yeah, that's why I started. I do my podcast as well. That's why I just start recording from the beginning. Just in case it's those spontaneous moments like we have. That's good conversation.
Yeah, it is. It is good conversation. So today we talked about IULs before, and we really went. And if you hadn't seen it, just search for Randolph Love. You can go to our school. You can go to Apple. You can go anywhere and just Super Clinic Randolph Love, and you'll be able to pull up that episode. But for this one, we want to talk about exits. So, because most of our listeners, of course, clinic owners are service-based people. I mean, we have roofers and cabinet makers and plumbers, you name it. Too. And then tons of chiro and med spas and weight loss and all of that. But anyway, so all you guys are listening. And I know that when I talk to you guys, you're like, when do you start thinking about an exit? What do you need to do for that? And so that's why we have Randolph here. So start us out, Randolph. When do you think is the best time to start thinking about and then putting together an exit plan? And how do you do that?
Okay, so definitely the best time. So, and we're all business owners, so we know there's a such thing as a quote unquote best time to do things. But in reality, it's almost never the best time. But the best time to start thinking about a business exit plan is actually before you start the business. Now, that said, they say the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. But the second best time is today. So let's say that you did not start thinking about your exit prior to starting the business. Usually you got to start today. And the most viable plan is usually within the 2 to 3 years before you plan to exit. Now, your plan should be put together well before then, but the most viable plan, the one that's most likely going to happen, usually is in 2 to 3 years before your exit, because it allows you to restructure things that you might have been doing. Sometimes a lot of business owners mix some personal expenses in with their business. If you're planning on exiting, if you want to get purchased, then you might start maybe moving out some of those things, to make it to where your bottom line is showing up better, your EBITDA.
Yeah, please don't do that. But I was going to tell you, just please don't do it. Do not commingle funds. I can't tell you how many times I've been called in, as a consultant, in what I do, especially crisis intervention, and I go into that business and the bank account is a freaking war zone crime scene. It's like there's purchases, there's, my wife used that card and this I gave to my kid for this. It's all so together that auditing it is a nightmare. And also
it kills your sale price.
Oh yeah, it absolutely does, because you really don't know what's going in and out of the business. And you find once you pull those expenses out, it really changes what's happening in the business, right? Yeah. Especially if you're doing the pulling in of your own owner's equity or draw, or you're just trying to live off of some.
And what you're saying is the perception.
Yeah.
And the shadiness, quote unquote, is of course, what people say, all right, that's you're commingling funds. And of course, you're not supposed to do that. But once again, as business owners, we know how it is. When you are operating a closely held business, a lot of times the core values of your company is your personal core values. A lot of times, a lot of the equipment, the car, different things you're using in your personal life. So it's easy to confuse those things. But that's why you need to work with a professional to point out, hey, maybe you didn't realize this, but that's crossing over into your personal. And, and not only could it adversely affect you in other ways, but it could definitely adverse if you're talking about exiting, depending on how you want to exit.
I've seen it to where the owner's like, well, yes, but some months I don't take any pay. And some months I take extra because we make extra, right? And so it was just too hard to have different accounts. It was just extra work. Yes, but that extra 30 minutes, that's what we're really talking about. It was just a pain in the butt admin thing. If you do it the daily, if you actually discipline yourself, it's really hardly any extra work at all. And at the end of the month, you can really see, wow, I really did go like 5 months without actually making anything. And I was trying to live off of this. And then when the big, when you start doing really well, you start quote unquote paying yourself back. And I have seen people pay themselves back exponentially more than they really should have paid themselves back. And that's what set the company up for failure later on, because they didn't have express budgets in line with their bank account. So don't do that for an exit. I'm just going to tell you, if you at any point you want to sell, you want to bring in investors, you want to do what Randolph's about to tell us to do, that would be the first thing. Don't commingle your funds.
Now, that brings me to another point. What's the reason that the person is knowingly or unknowingly commingling funds? Really and truly, like you said, I work with a lot of service businesses. You work with a lot of service businesses. What happens is service businesses end up not treating their service like a product. One of the ways that you can avoid having to do those things, meaning bringing in more consistent money while not tearing down your most valuable equipment, your body, because let's face it, if you're in a service business, your most valuable equipment is probably your body. And if you are doing a closely held business, not only is your most valuable equipment your body, you're probably the one that's actually fulfilling each job that's being sold, right? So what you definitely want to do is set it up to where your service can become a product. And what I mean by that, instead of just being a service person that goes out and just provide a solution, you want to turn it into a product, meaning that you're providing a treatment. Okay, yes, I'm a chiropractor, and yes, I will adjust your back and I will help you, recover from an accident. But I also have this subscription package. And if you do this subscription package, then you can get this, this, and this. You give more value to the customer, but to the potential buyer, what they see is this person already has established long-term customers that are under these terms. And that comes across very well to a potential buyer.
Yeah, usually for chiros, just FYI, there are memberships and wellness plans so that they keep it up. So, and really, when you think about chiropractic, in fact, even when you think about med spas or functional wellness, they all operate in the same model. They'll take an acute condition. Maybe somebody comes in with chronic pain, but they are in an acute pain, or they're very unhappy with their appearance. There is some very specific thing that's causing them a pain point. It's limiting their life, right? And so they will have basically, this acute package to get them to an end goal. But then, as with anything with health, there is a maintenance that needs to follow up. Maybe for med spas, it is medical grade facial products that will keep that result looking good, and have you looking less aged than you normally would. For functional wellness, it could be supplements, and it could be coming in for different types of therapies. Chiropractic, it's different therapies. It's the same thing. Like, think about, and I can't tell you how many clinics don't actually think about it like this, and they need to. So you're absolutely right. So what Randolph is saying is that you are a business. You need to think like a business. Yes, we're helping people. It's a different type of business, but it is still a business. But yet, when you think about the value you're putting out into the world, your divine purpose on this planet and responsibility, then think to yourself, well, how do we keep these people well? I know I can get you out of pain, but just like you have to have a good diet and good exercise, you can't just walk out the door and go strap on a bag of Cheetos and then lay on the couch and never exercise. We know if you do that, you are not going to get good healthcare results. Your health is just going to severely go down. So you have to just establish that there are these things that you can do that are logical for whatever that chief complaint is, that keeps that result going for longer, makes them healthier and happier for longer, so they can enjoy life the way they want for longer, right? So all we're doing is just reinforcing the reality that we have to be kind to ourselves and take care of ourselves. And as service-based people in the healthcare industry, we all have that divine responsibility to keep on reinforcing that, so that people will do it, and they'll do it with you. You're the person that they've chosen to do this with. Yes, they could go to somebody else, or they can maybe do it on their own, but that really hasn't worked. They haven't really done that. So let's get some help.
Yeah, I got a visual of somebody strapping on a bag of Cheetos with like that tape just around the top of their and this, just grabbing it, with the orange fingers. Yeah, it's a great visual. I appreciate that. I'm going to take that with me for the day. So all right. So let's say you're that person. All right, you've had your come to Jesus moment, and you realize that you need to start increasing the value of your business. Now it's, who do you hire first, right? That's a main question. Who do I hire first? If you are in a closely held business, the first person that you should hire when it comes to increasing the value of your company is an administrative executive assistant and or admin team. Reason being is you want somebody close to you watching how you manage the operations, just for when you can step back and let them manage the operations. Once that person is in place and everything is running good, the next person that you hire is the fulfillment person or team. All right, who's going to actually fulfill these jobs that we're selling? All right, so now I got somebody watching me that can take over the overall management of the company. Now I just brought somebody in because at first my body was the equipment. I was the one fulfilling, and there's only so many hours in a day, and there's only so long that this knee or this hip or this elbow is going to hold up. So now somebody else is doing the fulfillment. The very next person that you hire is a marketing person or marketing team. So now it's not you that's actually bringing in the leads. It's a great marketing team like the clinic, right? That's bringing in all of these people to where now somebody's watching you overall, learning how to operate the business. Somebody's fulfilling what's happening, and then somebody's bringing in the leads. And now you're the last one closing. The very last person that you hire is the sales team, the ones that close those marketing leads that come in. If you can successfully hire in that fashion, in that order, not only will you be able to slowly take off pressure, but you will be able to have the team operating without you. Because if somebody comes in to acquire your business, and they can show that the business can't operate without you, that doesn't necessarily mean that they won't buy your business, but then you're going to be operating on a possibly a earn out agreement. Now, a lot of people say earn outs are the standard, but you don't want to earn out to be exactly what happens. And if you want to go into how those earn outs work, I'll be happy to, but it's not the preferred. Mm-hmm.
I do want to say, I do want to say one thing. Now, I have successfully done it. It doesn't mean that those positions are in that order.
Okay, got it.
Depending on their personality, sometimes the best thing the person can do is get out of fulfillment first, because they're an admin person. They can answer the phones, they get people in, and then they'll close. They'll have someone fulfilling, and they will load up at a fulfillment person, and then they bring in the admin. I have seen that work quite successfully with our own scale ups. But you're right. The first two things you want to do is get out of admin and fulfillment, because that is not the highest, best use of your time and talent. And I understand that when you're talking about doctors, they're like, but I'm the doctor. I have to fulfill. I have to be the person fulfilling. But where's the biggest bottleneck? You're so stuck with fulfillment that you're no longer can see the patients for day 1 and day 2, which is the conversion order. That's your sales process. And so that stops you because you don't have enough times. You need at least 25 open slots a week if you are going to grow a typical medical clinical practice. That's what you need to be able to grow. So Randolph's absolutely right. But depending on your personality, and if you're good, some people are so bad, they just never want to answer the phone. Okay, that's an admin thing. Get them first, right? Right, that makes sense. But it really depends on you too, and what makes the most sense.
I'm like the sales owner. Like the admin.
I can see me saying, I'll buy it. What is it? I don't even care. Randolph told me I needed it, right? Like, I'm ridiculous. Yeah, I can see how that would be for you. Absolutely.
Now, let's say this. Now, here's the thing. Most businesses don't sell. And here's the other thing. Most business owners think that their children want their business, and when their children run the business, the money generated will pay for their retirement. One of the most important things that people listening to our voices right now can do is to actually ask your children if they want your business. I think you'll be surprised what their answer is.
Yes. We've had that happen. We've had people say, this is it, and bring the kids on. And then like month 2 or month 3, I'm like, what do you really want to do? Because it doesn't seem, this is a lot of work. You know, we're talking about taking them through the accelerator program, and it is a lot of work. I mean, it's hard to 2 to 10x the business in 4 months. You're working in a way you haven't worked in a long time. Most people, they'll say, well, I don't really want to do this. Yeah. I've had that happen twice. I've had hundreds of clients, and twice it was, well, let us talk about this. And it changed. And well, one of them, that just was off, that they didn't want to do it. The other one, what they wanted and what they really got excited about was not the role that they were in. And so it was changing, and they wanted to do more of the admin back-end work. They didn't want to do all the fulfillment. And once they realized that and they made that shift, all of a sudden, that was the bottleneck. That was the real problem. It's interesting. So, but let's talk about, we're back on exit. See, we can just talk about it. So what, you're the earnouts. Let's start with that. Let's talk about that.
So because here's the thing, your business can look great, but once you have somebody in the pipeline that wants to buy your business, then that's when they go send you that letter of intent, which, you know, it almost feels like, I just won. Nah, what happened was, once you got that letter of intent, now comes the due diligence phase. Let's see if everything that you told us is correct. And one of those things that they're going to check, that, like, for example, some people who are looking to buy your business, they might just suddenly change a meeting date and time at the last minute. And you're like, well, why would they do that? they want to see if truly the business is able to operate without you. So what does that mean? Even if you set up all of these things, it's about putting the right people in the right seats. And how are your current employees incentivized to stay on with the company once the new owners come? Nobody wants to buy a company where as soon as they buy it, everybody leaves. So now, how do you solve that problem? How do you incentivize the employees to stay, thereby making it a more valuable acquisition for a potential salesperson, but also hedge against the fact that you know that most businesses don't sell? What a lot of people do is they come up with a deferred comp type plan that includes a profit share that includes the employees, which incentivizes them to stay, but it also allows you as the business owner to make contributions to it, tax deductible contributions to it, and then at a later date, buy it from yourself at a discount, right? So now you're getting into to say, all right, my business is its own entity on paper. You are an entity in flesh and blood. You're able to use Internal Revenue Code 72E, 7702, and 101A and get this deferred comp plan to legitimately and legally write off contributions to it. And then right before it grows in its most value, usually it takes approximately 5 years for these returns. Right before those returns, you buy it back as an individual at its least value. So now you just got your business was just able to legitimately write off a loss. You were just able to pull it out of your business legitimately as an individual. And now you have something that's going to pay for your retirement, even if your business doesn't sell. So the way that I work with people is, of course, I want you to be able to sell your business. It's a great feeling to say that I built the business, scaled it, and sold it. But even if that doesn't happen, I show you how you can still exit with dignity.
That's amazing. Okay, so again, we're talking to Randolph Love. So that's really incredible. I don't think a lot of people understand that or even know that that is an option. And another thing that this can happen is I know of people that end up, getting they're doing great, then they get a diagnosis. And they, it's not a deathly diagnosis, but they know their life is about to change forever. They think they're going to beat it. They're still going to work through it. I mean, we have people that are working through cancer and illnesses and diseases all the time. But if you know eventually, okay, well, this is my wake up call. I'm going to have to do this and I need to scale and I need to build, but I need another plan. This would also be another option for that as well. It's not just for that. You need to realize that. And the reason I love doing this podcast is because we're all just so busy working all the time, and we need to understand that there's resources out there and experts out there for situations that we don't even know about now, but just know that something's out there, for you, and you can get access to it. So what other things about exits can we talk about?
Well, it's all right. So first and foremost, in order for you to exit, just in general, because all truths are parallel. If you're trying to go somewhere, and most people use GPS now. It used to be, they had the Garmin's that it would attach to the car, right? But then now everybody's GPS in their phone.
You're so young. I had a key map.
I used to print out MapQuest now. I can get there with you, right? So most people, because at one point you had to manually select current location, right? But now it automatically goes in there. When I ask most people what's the most important information that you need to put into a GPS in order to get to where you're going, they usually say the address. But really, it's the current location, because GPS uses triangulation. Without knowing where you're currently at, it cannot at all route you to where you want to go. So I would say the most important thing that people need to realize from this call is you need to find out where you're currently at. If they do reach out to me, if they visit shieldwolfstrong.com, I'll be happy to give what we call an unofficial valuation. An unofficial because, of course we get 2 years tax returns, but we're able to let you know using at least 5 different means of valuation what your business could be worth. And then as we talk more, we can get a more official valuation. But I would say the most important thing is learning how much you're currently worth based off of your current operating, what's going on, right? I got this old story. They said there were 2 fish just sitting in the ocean, 2 young fish. And then an old fish just swam along, looked at the 2 young fish and say, how you doing, young whippersnappers? The water's fine, ain't it? And when he said the water's fine, and then he just kept moving, and the 2 young fish, they looked at each other and they said, what the hell is water, right? What it is until you talk to a professional like you, Jennifer, and your skills, and to me, somebody that helps people with business exits, you don't realize that you're in water. There are certain things that we know because we've done it for so long and worked with so many people that it's obvious to us, and the business owner can't see the forest for the trees. So that, I would say, that's the first thing. Figure out exactly where you're at, what your business is currently worth, and then we build from there. And if that's where you're at, we'll be happy to help you.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you, he's absolutely right. When you go into any sort of consulting or coaching, one of the first things your coach or consultant, or even a vendor, someone, a partner like Randolph, we're going to want to know the numbers. It's like the most basic question. Well, what are your numbers? What was your revenue? What's your take home? What are the expenses? Those are the most basic things. Do you own the building that you're in? What is your lease agreements right now? What about your equipment? Are you leasing the equipment? Do you own the equipment? What about your staff? How long has your staff been here? We're establishing values and numbers for the thing so we can see how to grow that and to get a real clear picture of where you're at, so we can see where to, for me, it's growth. So how can we push that growth forward for you? And let's figure out the goals. Like, what are the real goals? Well, we're leasing now. My big goal is within 3 years to buy a property. I want to have my own building. Okay, great. We can get you there, but we got to know where you're at right now. And I can't tell you how many times I get on calls with people and I'll ask them the most basic questions. So, what do we bring in revenue last month? And it is literally pie in the sky. They don't, not a real number. Well, what was your profit? Crickets. That is not a place that you want to be. That is a scary place. Like, why are you doing that to yourself as an owner? Because that doesn't feel good, right? So, and you think that you're protecting yourself in a way. There is something inside of you that doesn't want to look at those numbers. There is some fear-based little thing in your head going, it'll be okay. We paid the bills. If we really look, we may not be happy with it, but we're okay. So let's just be okay. Don't listen to that voice. That voice is limiting you. You need transparency, and you need to push yourself on that to really get what it is. Get out of that false sense of security and comfort, which is what it is, and get to where you have transparency, because feeling strong and secure is the ultimate safety that you're going to experience.
Absolutely. What you're saying is absolutely right. What gets monitored gets better. What gets monitored and reported gets exponentially better. And I'm a wordsmith. I love words. If you were to look up the definition of future, it says the time or period of time following the moment of speaking or writing. Until you speak it and then write it down, you will never get to your future.
Absolutely. Though that's really good. See, guys, this is why we love Randolph on the show.
Yes.
Okay, so good. So Randolph, please let everyone know exactly where they go to find you.
All right. You can go to shieldwolfstrong.com. That's SHIELDWOLFSTRONG.com. And there you can get your free unofficial business valuation. You can also visit entrepreneurist.com, ENTREPRENUDIST.com. There you can listen to my podcast. It's the place to hear real entrepreneurs and business owners bear it all.
Well, you heard it here, my Super Clinic family. Just remember, too, you can still go to superclinic.com, superclinicproject.com. And if you go to our free school, we have this. As with all of our episodes, we will create either a quiz or a handout or a spreadsheet that goes along with us, along with all the notes. And you can find us on all platforms. I want to thank you, Randolph, for being here today. Again, it went like that. It always does. So
And one last thing before you go, the audience, I don't know if Jennifer remember this, but tentatively, she said she might bring me out to something that y'all do annually. I'm
Yes.
just get in the comments and let her know you want me to come to whatever they gonna put together, because I'm just making
You're
sure.
already on the list for that. That's not until we're going to be doing that in winter. I said fall, but I think it's actually going to be winter because we've started Peak Wellness Lab. So we've been doing that scale up, and that's why. And he's talking about our big summit. We're going to bring Randolph along with some other incredible experts and other clinic owners too to a big summit. So we're going to talk about the things you need to know right now in order to scale your business for the coming year. That's the whole purpose of it. We're going to do breakout sessions. You're going to get complimentary, like one-on-ones with some of our people. There's going to be tons of giveaways. It's going to be awesome, and I cannot wait to do it.
I love it.
Yep. Okay, guys. So don't forget to like, comment, share, and please give us a 5-star review. That's how we're able to attract incredible entrepreneurs like Randolph to the show and get you all this incredible information. Thanks again, Randolph.
Thank you so much, Jennifer.
You've been listening to the Super Clinic Project Podcast. If you like what you hear, subscribe and stay tuned for further episodes of the Super Clinic Project Podcast.